Hi, this is Julie from Fletcher Miller Physical Therapy Department. This week we are posting on your sites a write-up about tummy time and the importance of tummy time and with development and just I was going to talk about some different positions and modifications you can do to work on this at home with your child depending on their age and size. And if they have a feeding tube or a trach or whatever. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start just from the kind of the very beginning. Kids usually start doing tummy time when they're infants, and with our kids, sometimes that's really hard. If they've been in the ICU or have feeding tubes or on oxygen, it's hard to get a kid into being on their stomach. But we can go back now and recreate some of that now that they're older and healthier. So I'm going to just demonstrate a few things you can do for a child who's maybe a little bit younger, but you're working on some good head control and beginning to work on some upper extremity strengthening. And in this case, my body is actually going to be kind of the surface that they're pushing off of. And then as they get older and a little bit bigger, we're going to move to some other positions on the floor. So starting out, a newborn will spend a lot of time on an adult's tummy. And from this position, they don't have a lot of head control when they're newborns, but they start to push off of the adult and get up onto their elbows, or at least picking their head off of this adult's body to move their head from side to side or to look around. And then as they get a little stronger, you can do more of a modified sit where you're kind of leaning against a wall and having them start to have to fight gravity a little bit more in this position, and then all the way up into seated where they're almost upright. They're still using you to push off. You can even have them up on your shoulder more as their head control gets better and they can see around a little bit. But you're still supporting their torso a lot in these positions. As a child gets bigger and heavier or longer, we're going to move on to show you some different positions on the floor. So here's some other positions you can use for getting a child who might need a little bit of support under their torso to be comfortable on their tummy for tummy time. Or these are also some good positions if they do have a button and you're trying to protect the button. One is to take a small child and put them in a, what's this called?
Bobby.
A bobby, yeah. So it's padded, kind of where that tummy area is, but they can get their head up and over the pillow. You can put their elbows down and have them work on looking up at a mirror, or you can lay in front of them and you can sing or have some nice face-to-face time, or you can have them from this position even do some weight shifting and reach to put something on a mirror like a sticker, shift over to the other side and have them reach. So this is a nice position for a smaller child. For a larger child, you may want to think about doing something like a wedge, which would be just a little bit more supportive for them, bringing their arms up and over the edge of the wedge. If they do have a button and you're a little bit worried about it getting irritated, you can put a piece of foam above and below the button so that there's a gap where the button is, so it's not taking the full weight of their belly on the button on a harder surface. The big thing though is to really be monitoring their airway, making sure that they are clear of the edge of the wedge and it's not pressing on their throat and they're not at any distress. So I would be checking their face pretty frequently when I'm doing this activity and making sure that they're okay and comfortable. If you don't have these at home, sometimes you can use like if you have an exercise foam roller, you could use this, or you could even cut it in half if it's too big and use it more as like a flat surface that they could be over just just to give them a little bit of support at their torso, so they're not putting all their weight through their upper extremities in this position. Hi, here is another position that I use a lot in therapy, and it's super easy to do at home. You would just need a chair with 4 legs, probably not anything on wheels, but you can put your child across your lap with their button being totally not touching anything. And I've got control of their hips, control of their shoulders, I've got a little space. And from here, I can lower one leg to put the child at a little bit more of an angle, or I can even raise one leg to make it even higher so she's fighting a little bit more gravity. You can get them up on their elbows on your leg. And here I've got a mirror, but you could have a video or something going for them to be watching, or you could have a preferred toy on a table that maybe they could reach out and get some kind of a auditory toy or light up toy that would be interesting for them to do. Here I've got a mirror, and you could take some Klingons, kind of weight shift them onto one side and have them reach to put something on the mirror and take it back down. You can weight shift them to the other side and do the closer arm, or you can just move your chair the other direction to get the other side as well. This is a really, I think it's a really great position because I can really see what's going on with their face and if they're comfortable or not as well. Now, as your child gets a lot older, this is hard to do just because they're so long, but for a smaller child, this is a great position to work on this at home. So, for a larger kid, I really find these therapy balls are nice. They're just although they're a little tricky to get a child on and off, sometimes it takes 2 people to get them on safely. Once they're on, you can kind of control them pretty well with one person. Kids love it. You can get them on, they're soft so they don't really irritate the button very much. You can do some bouncing and just kind of get them doing something that they think is fun, and they don't realize they're working so hard, I think, sometimes on a ball. But you can start with them kind of flat. You can move the ball forward, see if they'll bring their head up to see what they're, to look at something that's of interest to them. You can facilitate bringing them up onto their elbows to just get a little bit more support to look up at a video or to a sibling. You can do some side to side, and then you can progress it and make it a little bit harder by bringing the ball back, and they're fighting a little bit more gravity, more upright. You can bring it back forward again, facilitate just moving the ball to weight shift over onto one elbow or one side, which would free up another hand, the other hand for reaching, and vice versa. And just doing some side to side as well is just good for the core, the upper body. So this is a go-to for me too. I use this all the time for head control, but also they are getting some good tummy time because they're pushing off of a surface. And all of this tummy time is really great for developmental moving forward. It's great for facilitating getting up onto hands and knees, for crawling, transitioning from being on their tummy to sitting. It's just a really good position for a lot of things that they would move into from being on their tummy. So, great, thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.